WCDH Star reveals who each Hope Valley residents' roles would be in Elizabeth and Nathan's wedding, including the officiant. What role would each member of the When Calls the Heart cast play in a future Elizabeth and Nathan wedding? Pascale Hutton has ideas, even if the two aren't even engaged yet. But does that mean there are wedding bells on the horizon for the couple? What can we expect from When Calls the Heart Season 12? Will Elizabeth and Nathan get married in When Calls the Heart? Pascale Hutton had plenty of ideas about the character's future wedding, telling US Weekly, "I would love it if Rosemary was going to be the officiant." And why wouldn't Rosemary be the officiant? Hutton has, after all, played Elizabeth Thornton's best friend Rosemary Coulter on the show since the show premiered in 2014. However, jokes aside, Hutton admitted that it is unlikely Rosemary would actually be the officiant. "I feel like Joseph is a solid pastor and he could handle that well." As the best friend, however, Rosemary would still have an important role to play, with Hutton noting that she would most likely be more of like a maid of honor and helping plan the whole thing. After all, Rosemary was instrumental in helping Elizabeth plan her wedding to Jack during Season 5. Jack, who was played by Daniel Lissing, died during the Season 5 finale after he was trapped by a landslide. Kevin Smith, who portrays Rosemary's husband, Leland Coulter, told US Weekly that his role would likely be much smaller since he and Nathan haven't had a chance to strike up a close friendship yet. Liz seems to befriend everybody in town, except he hasn't really spent a whole lot of time with Nathan yet, which is odd. But there's time. I'm not assuming that Lo would have a large role in that wedding moving forward, but I'm certainly open to them pursuing that relationship on camera. Not that Leland would miss the wedding. He'd still be there, even if he might not have as much to do as his wife. As of right now, Lo might be ushering people to their seats. That's about it. The show ended Season 11 with quite a cliffhanger, which will have to be resolved before there can be any talk of weddings. At the very end of the episode, Elizabeth and Nathan Grant are approached by Superintendent Hargraves. Hargraves was Nathan's superior officer at Fort Clay and the man who suspended him from the mission that ultimately killed Elizabeth's husband, Jack Thornton. Since Nathan had to sit out, Jack took his spot in the mission and was tragically killed by a landslide. Feeling responsible for his death, Nathan then transferred to Hope Valley to look after Elizabeth and her son. This connection eventually came to light, and it caused Elizabeth and Nathan to break up. Nathan assumed Hargraves was there to see him, but as it turns out, he had come to Hope Valley to talk to Elizabeth. "I'm not here to see you, Constable," he told Nathan before turning to Elizabeth and saying, "Mrs. Thornton, it's about your late husband. And worse of all, the matter was urgent and it had to be discussed in private." In classic When Calls the Heart fashion, that is when the credits rolled. So, before there's any wedding planning, fans would probably love to find out what Superintendent Hargraves has to say about Jack Thornton. After that is resolved, then perhaps Elizabeth and Nathan can start thinking about the future, and yes, maybe a wedding. When Calls the Heart is available to stream on Peacock. Watch When Calls the Heart on Peacock 5.99+. Thanks for watching this video. Please hit the subscribe button for more update news.